Hello and welcome to grammar class. Today's topic is narration change of mixed sentences and dialogues. First off, what's the difference between the direct speech and the indirect speech? Well, as the name suggests, in the direct speech we use the actual words or the exact words of the speaker within the quotation marks. For example, he said, "I am walking now." Here the statement "I am walking now" has been quoted exactly as the speaker said. So this is direct or quoted speech. And then "Father said to me, 'Why did you return home so late?'" Here the question "Why did you return home so late?" has been quoted in the exact words of father. So this too is an example of the direct speech. Remember, we use the inverted commas for the direct speech only. Now let me explain the indirect speech with examples. In the indirect speech, the speech or message of the speaker is reported not in his exact words, but in the words of the narrator without changing the meaning. He said that he was working then. You see, here in this sentence, the reporter or the narrator is not using the exact or actual words of the person who said this. The words "he was walking" are used by the narrator or the reporter to convey the message or statement of the speaker. This is known as the indirect speech in English grammar. "Father asked me why I had returned home so late." In this narration, the words "why I had returned home so late" are used by the reporter. The exact words of father were, "Why did you return home so late?" Obviously, here the narrator is using his own words to convey what father said without changing the meaning. This type of narration is known as the indirect or reported speech. Now, what about mixed sentences in the direct speech? The definition is simple. When there are two or more sentences in the direct or quoted speech, they are called mixed sentences. Now these mixed sentences within inverted commas or in the direct speech may be either of the same kind or of different kinds. For example, I said to mother, "I am getting late for school. I won't have breakfast today." In this narration, there are two sentences in the direct speech. And these mixed sentences are both assertive sentences. In the next example also, the quoted speech or the direct speech has two sentences. But here the two sentences or the mixed sentences are of different kinds. The first, "Why are you making a noise in the class?" is an interrogative sentence. And the second, "Please be quiet," is an imperative sentence. So we learn that the direct speech may have mixed sentences of the same kind or of different kinds. But how to change the mixed sentences in the direct speech into the indirect narration? Now, if the direct speech has mixed sentences of the same kind, we use one common reporting verb for all of them just once and join the sentences with the conjunction "and" or "and that." In the first example, Tom said to me, "I am unwell, I cannot go to school today." The direct speech has two sentences of the same kind, the assertive sentence. So in the indirect narration, we are using one common reporting verb told just once for both the sentences. Thereafter, we are using the conjunction "that" as appropriate for the assertive sentences. Next, we are turning the two assertive sentences in the direct speech into subordinate clauses and joining them with the conjunction "and" in the indirect narration. Tom told me that he was unwell and he could not go to school that day. You may use "that" after "and." All the other general rules for change of narration are also being followed here. In the next example, the direct speech has two interrogative sentences. "What's wrong with you?" and "Why are you upset?" Since we have mixed sentences of the same kind in the direct speech here, and they both being interrogative sentences, we are using one common and appropriate reporting verb for them, and that is "asked." And thereafter we are not using the conjunction "that," because we are reporting interrogative sentences here. But next we are joining them with the conjunction and. We asked him what was wrong with him and why he was upset. But the direct speech may also have mixed sentences of different kinds. If there are multiple sentences of different kinds in the direct speech, we use different and appropriate reporting verbs for each of them in the indirect narration, and join the sentences with certain expressions such as and, added that, further said that, also said that, then, etc. Now see the first example. The teacher said to us, "Why are you still sitting here? Go to your classroom at once." Here in the direct speech, there are two sentences of different kinds. "Why are you still sitting here" is interrogative, and "go to your classroom at once" is imperative. So in the indirect narration, we have to use two different sets of rules, including two different reporting verbs appropriate for each of the sentences. For the interrogative sentence, we are using the reporting verb asked, and for the imperative sentence, we are using ordered. We are joining the two sentences as subordinate clauses using the conjunction and. The teacher asked us why we were still sitting there and ordered us to go to our classroom at once. In the next example also, there are two different kinds of sentences in the direct speech. "What an interesting book it is" is an exclamatory sentence, and the sentence "I wish to take it home for a day" is an assertive sentence. So in the indirect speech, we are using the reporting verb exclaimed for the exclamatory sentence and the expression "further said that" before the assertive sentence. Here too, in the indirect narration, the two sentences of the direct speech are turned into subordinate clauses and joined with the help of the conjunction and. All the other regular rules of narration change are followed as usual. Ben exclaimed with joy that it was a very interesting book and further said that he wished to take it home for a day. In the last example, there are three different kinds of sentences in the direct quoted speech. The first sentence, "I am hungry" is an assertive sentence, and then "please give me some food" is an imperative sentence, and the last, "may I sit here" is an interrogative sentence. So we have to use three different reporting verbs appropriate for each of them in the indirect narration. Said for the first assertive sentence, requested for the imperative sentence, and asked for the interrogative sentence. However, if there are more than two different kinds of sentences in the direct speech, instead of using one long sentence with three subordinate clauses in the indirect narration, we should opt for two or more separate sentences. The beggar said that he was hungry and requested me to give him some food. He further asked if he might sit there. You will notice here that the third sentence of the direct speech has been put in a separate sentence in indirect narration. He further asked if he might sit there. In this case, we might as well opt for three short and separate sentences. Up next, the narration change of dialogues. Well, a dialogue is defined as a record of spoken exchanges between two or more people. In other words, a dialogue simply means a conversation between two or more people. Remember, in the indirect narration, we report or narrate a dialogue in a paragraph format without changing its mood or message. Now, on your screen, we have a dialogue between a doctor and his patient. And I am going to tell you how this dialogue is reported in the indirect narration. The doctor says, "How do you feel now?" It's an interrogative sentence. The patient's reply, "I have a headache, doctor." It's an assertive sentence. "Doctor, try to sleep for a while." This is an imperative sentence. The patient now replies to the doctor, "I have bad dreams in my sleep, sir." This is again an assertive sentence. So you see, we have to first identify the kinds of sentences used in each speech made or spoken in the dialogue. Then we change the narration in a paragraph format according to the rules. The doctor asked the patient how he felt then. Here the reporting verb is asked because the first sentence was an interrogative one. The necessary changes of personal pronouns and tenses have also been made. You to he, feel to felt, and now to then. The patient replied that he had a headache. The patient's sentence was an assertive one, so we have used the reporting verb replied. And we have also used the conjunction that thereafter. The doctor then advised him to try to sleep for some time. The doctor's second sentence is an imperative one, so we have used the reporting verb advised and the infinitive to try. At this, the patient politely told the doctor that he had bad dreams in his sleep. The patient's reply is again an assertive sentence. Hence, the reporting verb is told and the conjunction that has been used. The personal pronoun I has been changed as he and the verb have has been changed to had. In this way, the entire dialogue has been narrated in a paragraph format in the indirect narration. Here is another dialogue on your screen. It's between Jane and her teacher. But as I said earlier, for the narration change of the dialogue, we have to identify the type of each sentence. How fluently you speak French, the teacher said. It's an exclamatory sentence. So in the indirect narration, we have used the expression exclaimed with admiration for this sentence. After the conjunction that, the personal pronoun you has been changed as Jane. The verb speak has been changed to spoke in the simple past tense. And we have also used the adverb very in place of how in the indirect narration. In reply, Jane modestly said, "Thank you, ma'am. My mother is a French woman." Now this is an assertive sentence. For thank you, ma'am, in the indirect narration, we write she thanked her. And for the following assertive sentence, we are using the reporting verb told. The conjunction that is used and the personal pronoun my becomes her. The verb is changed to was in the simple past tense. In this way, we narrate the dialogue in a paragraph format in the indirect narration. In prose or literature, we sometimes see that the speech is put before the speaker in a sentence in the dialogue. But please remember that in a dialogue, each character's speech is put in a separate paragraph. Now let's read the dialogue. There was no one within except an old woman who said, "Who are you and where are you going?" There are two interrogative sentences in the speech of the old woman. "I am going to the queen," said the young man, "to whom I am supposed to give this letter, but I have lost my way." We see here that the initial part of the young man's reply, "I am going to the queen," is put before the speaker. But the whole sentence in his reply is an assertive sentence. "You are unlucky because you have strayed into a robber's den," she said. The second speech of the old woman is also an assertive sentence. Now in the indirect narration, for the two interrogative sentences, we have used the reporting verb asked. The personal pronouns and the verb tenses have also been duly changed. You to he and from the present tenses to corresponding past tenses. We have used the reporting verb replied and the conjunction that for the assertive sentence of the young man. The personal pronoun I has been changed as he. And the present tenses am going, am supposed, and have lost have been changed to the corresponding past tenses. Was going, was supposed, and had lost. The old woman's second speech is also an assertive sentence. And so we have used the reporting verb told, the conjunction that, and changed the personal pronouns and tenses as required. At this, she told him that he was unlucky because he had strayed into a robber's den. Remember, in the indirect narration, the reporting clauses such as the young man replied and she told him that always come before the reported speech. Now we have a first person narrative with a dialogue between a teacher and his students. In literary dialogues, sometimes the speaker is not clearly mentioned, it's understood. Our favorite teacher entered the classroom. Good morning, sir. Though it is not mentioned, we understand that it is the students who are saying good morning to their teacher. Good morning, children. What do you want me to teach today? Again, though not mentioned, we understand that it's the teacher who is saying this. Sir, please tell us a story with a lesson. Whose speech is this? Of course, the students are saying this to their teacher. It's an imperative sentence. Now, for the first time, the reporting clause or the speaker is clearly mentioned. The teacher smiled at us and said, "All right, here is a story of Sir Isaac Newton." Now, I'm going to change this entire dialogue into indirect narration. When our favorite teacher entered the classroom, we wished him good morning. He also wished us good morning and wanted to know what we wanted him to teach that day. We have used the reporting verb wanted to know here because the teacher had asked a question in the direct speech. The personal pronouns you and me have been changed to we and him respectively. And the tense of the verb want has also been changed to the simple past tense wanted. Next, for the imperative sentence, so please tell us a story, we have used the reporting verb requested. And you see, the expression here is a story has been changed as he was going to tell us a story. This is how we narrate a dialogue in a paragraph format in the indirect narration. That's the end of today's class. Hopefully you liked the video. We request every viewer to like, comment, share and subscribe to our channel. And also to click the notification bell for more grammar content. Thanks for watching.